Hi there, my name is Bailey Doyle. I'm a 5th grade inclusion teacher at an IPS school. I also work with a student with autism in the 1st grade as a teacher of service, and this student is the one I'm going to be talking to you about today. Here is my student's social stories book. He is a 1st grader at Brookside Elementary. I have used social stories with him in the past, but said stories have been ones that I found online or from other resources, but the one I'm going to show you today is more tailored to his needs and uses him individually as opposed to using more of a generic one that I've used in the past, the ones that I said that I've used from online. In addition, the social story that I'm going to show you, it's smaller. I usually make it a lot bigger. Usually each box is like a page or so, but just for presentation's sake, I wanted to make it into as little amount of pages as possible. To make this social story, I used our textbook a lot. I used the social story sentence types to help me know what to include. And I also used Carol Gray, the creator of social stories, one of her books, as a example to help me lead me into creating the social story. Speaking of the sentence types, the book describes that Carol Gray says that you need to have a ratio of the amount of social story sentence types that you use, but the authors claim, and as well as others, state that there is a lack of research and they don't feel that it is necessary. There's no data to really show that you need to have this ratio, so I didn't follow the ratio even though Carol Gray suggested it, because they state that it is that people have questions its appropriateness and its utility. So moving on to my social story, it says staying in my seat. Dylan has a lot of issues with staying in his seat. He's always running about the room or sometimes even just leaving the room, and really staying in his seat is something that we've been working on and getting him to do. So this is a social story that's covered that. So I also labeled the parts. This wouldn't obviously be in the social story that I would give to a 1st grader, but I did just so you guys could see it. So this says the introduction. I have the first one is 2 descriptive sentences, and it says, "My name is Dylan. I am a 1st grader at Brookside Elementary." My second sentence is also a descriptive sentence. It says, "When I am at school, I sit at my desk a lot." And then next is the body. I have a descriptive sentence. It says, "There are many students in my classroom." This one right here. The next one, middle one, it states, "The students sit in their desks," or "the students sit in their chairs at their desks." And I have a picture of students sitting at their desks. The next one is a perceptive, which is more like kind of an opinion. Descriptive is like factual. The students do in fact sit at their desks. Perspective, this is perspective, and it states that when I'm not sitting at my desk, it makes learning hard. And then I have a picture of him frowning. And then my perspective is, "Miss Doyle and I have worked hard and I have found my learning position." My perspective and descriptive is, "Miss Doyle likes it when I stay at my desk. When I am at my desk, I call it my learning position." So I use the books to describe that how I like when he's at his desk because he gets to learn. And then there's a picture of a teacher with a student to represent how I like him being at his desk so that he can be in his learning position. That's something that I like him to do. The next one, it says, "My learning position is when I sit on my chair behind my desk." And that is coaches the audience. So that explains to Dylan that he is successfully in his learning position when he's seated like this. His pockets are on his chair, and he is seated directly behind his desk. The body continued is coaches the team, and this is more of everyone involved, not just the student per se. And this says, Miss Doyle and Mrs. Smith, his general education teacher, will try to help me stay in my learning position. They can remind me to sit at my desk in my learning position. So that's kind of what the team is going to do to help him stay in his learning position. The next one is also coach's team, also describes what the teachers are going to do to help Dylan stay at his desk. It says they can use pictures in their hands to tell me to be in my learning position. So I have a picture of a teacher gesturing. I usually try to use as little amount of vocalization with my students with autism. I find that it tends to confuse them. So using pictures to prompt him and gestures like pointing to the desk, I found to be more successful than saying, go to your learning position. So that's what that gesture is for. And then my conclusion, this is a partial. It says, when I am in the classroom, I will try to. So this is just to kind of help guide the learning and help him kind of gauge where he is if he understands learning positions. And then my final one is affirmative. And it says, being in my learning position helps me be a great learner. And that is the social story that I created for my student Dylan in order to help him better stay in his desk in an effort to help him learn better and just help him succeed in the general education classroom.